Okay, on 11 and 12 we have equations, whereas 8 through 10 we just had an expression. So now we're solving, we're finding the values of x that make the equation true. You have several different ways that you can solve. You can still factor just like you did on 8 through 10. You can complete the square. That was one of our processes. But remember that we only know how to do if x is 1 and your b is positive, so that won't work on these two. You can always use the quadratic formula, so that's an option as well, and you can always use your graphing calculator. And so I just want to show you that you can use different methods and get the same thing. This one's a really easy one to factor since a is 1. You want factors of your c, so c value is -12, that add or have a sum of the middle term, your b value, which is a +1. So if we're multiplying numbers to get -12, remember the signs have to be different, one positive, one negative. And so we have 1 and 12, and we can switch the signs there. 2 and 6, one of those have to be negative, and 3 and 4, one has to be negative. So which pair adds to get +1? That would be -3 and +4. So I could write my binomial factors as x minus 3 and x plus 4 and set that equal to 0. Now the only way this number times this number is going to equal 0 is for at least one of these to be 0. Well, for x minus 3, for that term to be 0, this x has to be the opposite of that -3. And so x would have to be +3. Same thing here, for this x plus 4 to be 0, this x has to be the opposite of that +4, and so x would have to be -4. There are my solutions. X is 3 and x is -4. I could get the same thing on my graphing calculator. If you go to your y equals, you want to enter this quadratic into your y equals, so x squared plus x minus 12. Remember, the solutions are where this quadratic crosses the x-axis, and all the points on the x-axis are when y is 0. So we would enter our second equation as y equals 0. That's the equation of the x-axis. So we can look at our graph and see that our parabola is going to cross the x-axis in two places, which means we have two solutions. So to find them, we go to the calc menu by hitting second trace, and we want the point of intersection, so we press 5. And remember, it's going to ask you questions here, first curve, second curve, guess, but you just press enter for each one of those. And so it shows our first intersection is x equals 3, which is one of our solutions we got by factoring. Remember, to find the other one, when you hit second trace 5, before you press enter 3 times, you're going to have to move that cursor closer to the other point of the intersection. You don't have to be right on top of it, just closer to it, and then press enter 3 times. And as you can see, we get x equals -4, which is the solution we got from factoring as well. So either method is fine.